I'm under the impression that this can be a potential PM session continuation, right? All this optimal trinity level up into relative highs up here. All right, so I'm watching this 15-minute gap. Okay, I'm also watching new week opening gap here. These two dark red lines. Those are the key levels that I'm watching. And if we're truly going to be bullish, right, we'll really create an aggressive light bulb displacement through this, right? And then, of course, my eyes will jump up here to 19,628. But simply this little run up, that's not enough for me to be convinced, right? And higher pricing. Okay, especially in a market that's been really shaky. There it is. That's good. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, now we have something of substance. Now the key is, does it continue this directionalness? Okay, that's perfect. So we reacted up off the OTE level, simply just anchoring the fib from the AM session low to the AM session high. You can see we delivered that, right? And like I explained to you guys, we took out the trend line from the AM session, right? The stop losses for those who have been longing, right? And now we just completely smashed through this 15-minute fair value gap. So it's exactly what I was looking for. That's that light bulb moment. So what am I going to really realistically do now, right? Hunt for up here, okay? 19,631, okay? So this looks pretty good to me, okay? If it gives me the model to the upside, okay, I'll trade that. All right, so it just continues to the upside. I was scouting out this fair value gap here, but looks like it wants to make it a little difficult. Now the problem with me long, like, why didn't you just long right here? The problem with that is, where does my stop loss go? I kind of lost the plot at that point. If I'm just chasing this momentum, right, and then put my stop loss all the way down here rather than just waiting for the, a sound retracement, short-term retracement, and going from there. So, okay, right here, like to see price come back down into that, use that as support into, remember these two bold lines. Okay, that's new week opening gap from this week. I would like us ideally to stay above that now. And keep higher. Okay, I'm looking to see if it offers me a 3, 2, or 1 minute entry here. Now the question is, oh man, what if it just goes without me? What if it just smashes straight up there? Well, guess what? I just missed the move, right? That just comes with the model, right? You're gonna miss some, you're gonna be rewarded greatly by others, right? And you'll lose some, right? But the only thing that truly matters is not allowing emotions like FOMO, greed, stuff like that, right, make you take trades that are outside of the model. Right, that's what's truly important. Okay, not singular, trade examples in and of themselves. So this thing is aggressively bullish here. That'll be all right with me. So if you pull your fib from the actual high target, okay, to equilibrium, what I was looking for is if we can get that sell side delivery and price right around equilibrium, and then obviously change the state and delivery. But now the interesting part about this is, guess what? Ever since 1 p.m., the PM session, right, we come into it, what's been the first significant move in the PM session? Right here. And what happens when that first swing low is formed, right? What do I teach you guys in every stream? Okay, usually 90% of the time you're going to be expected that to be stop rated here, right? Because a lot of people are buying in, jamming their stop losses way too early below this low. Price comes back down into that, creates that retracement, and then creates a real move. So basically just quote unquote grabbing liquidity grab, grabbing more liquidity, right, and then sending this thing higher, right? And I was saying that sarcastically because it's like cringing to me when I see like online like, oh yeah, look at this liquidity grab. Yeah, anyway. All right, so we do have a 5 minute gap here, but the key is, right, I do want to see a retracement back in the new week opening gap, but I just want to see an institutional order flow and then leave it immediately. There should be no reason why price spends any time down inside of here at all. So, yep, one target, one level. I told you guys where price is going to go. But I can't promise you I'm going to push a button because this is, like, a lot of times, right, when we have a scenario like this, that's when it baits you, and then you get in, right, comes against you, and then goes to where you truly want it to go. So it's all about, once again, not allowing emotions, especially like FOMO and greed, right, be a part of the equation. Because if you do, then you're just going to lose money on low quality setups, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and long the sell stops there. Sell stop's going to be below the gap. All right, and this will be my first trade of the week. And then I'm going to target the high up here. So this is something that I'd want to lose money on. This is like a light bulb moment, okay? Can't see myself using more than one contract though, especially since how price traded today, but this to me looks pretty clean, right? And I'll just submit to the trade, and that's it. So price was able to take out the sell stops there, right? Delivers the fair value gap. And that's pretty much it. So this will be on a Model 3 basis, going against and running previous session high up here. And obviously the ultimate draw, which is previous daily high. So this is either going to be one of two things: the most classic textbook PM session continuation buy day that you've ever seen, or it's going to bang around inside the range like it did yesterday. So whichever one, we'll be here for it. But I'm definitely not, I can't see myself taking any more trades in this right here. So this will be my one and only. And then in terms of past that, I mean, you don't really need to look past the high right here. I mean, this is like pretty much the safest target to have right up above previous daily high. And then, I mean, if you have multiple contracts, you can hold a runner for the wick midpoint there, right? But like I said, previous daily high is pretty much enough. So, and let me measure this out. So I did tell you guys stop's going to be below midpoint. So stop's going to be cleanly rested below midpoint of that new week opening gap there. And then understanding that if this fair value gap down here is redelivered at the lower end, right, I'm already wrong. Like, I'm on the wrong side because we already had sell side and buy side delivery with a clean draw above, right? There's no reason for them to spend a lot of time down this 5-minute gap because of the efficient delivery on both sides right here, okay? So if it redelivers that, then I don't want to be a part of the trade anyway. No wicks to consider as well, so that's why I like this, okay? Already worked in the wick there, left it. Okay, so once again, stops below midpoint of new week opening gap. Okay. So yeah, pretty much right on the dot. 1 to 2 RR trade. So that to me is valid. And like I said, once we get a real large impulse swing above this high right here, like something like this, right? I'd cut my stop loss in half immediately and let the thing ride. And I see a lot of things online. It's like, oh, like, why are you going break even? Like, it's showing low confidence in the setup, or why are you touching your stop loss? Like, it's proper risk management. No strategy has 100% win rate, okay? In fact, one thing that actually was like an eye-opener for me, I was like, wow, okay, it's further proof that, you know, it's not a game of being right or wrong. It's a game of having a true edge, but not relying on, like, every single trade to hit, because, I mean, the reality is you're going to lose. But anyway, the $2 million Apex payout record from Jade Cap, that I saw he was talking on the podcast. He was like, yeah, I had about a 35% win rate. Now, granted, okay, you're never going to see me have a 35% win rate, okay? I'm never going to strive for that. That's something that I don't look up to, okay? However, it puts things in perspective and seeing that he had a 35% win rate, right? But still got a $2 million payout, right? So it just goes to show managing risk is just as important as the actual concepts. And obviously, how you conduct yourself emotionally, right? Are you chasing losses, and so on and so forth. So now in the time aspect, right, we've already passed 1:30 p.m. kills on opening, so I would like to see speed ideally by the time we get to around 1:50, okay, completing the move above the high. Then on the flip side, you think about it like, oh man, what if you're wrong? What if I'm wrong about this? What if the stop loss gets hit, right? You can't think about that, right? You allow the trade to pan out. Everything else in between is noise, okay? Because you understand having a true edge, right? Using the proper RR, that type of stuff, you know, simple stuff. Time will do the heavy lifting for you, okay? But once again, if you chase a loss, you get emotional. That's where the true damage is done, right? I think you guys can all, anytime you guys have blown an account, just think about it. Was it as a result of your strategy failing you, or was it a result of you failing the strategy? I mean, just think about it for a second. Every blown account that you have, was it from you chasing a loss, right? Did you take a loss and just go on tilt? Or was it from, you know, just the strategy not panning out here and there, right? I'm pretty sure it's from probably chasing the loss. So, all right, anyway, that's good expansion there. I don't want to trail stop just yet because I just don't want to trail it too soon. However, this here is beautiful, can be beautiful here, right? Because we just formed this down candle right here at equilibrium, okay? What do I teach you guys? We'd like to see that be, you know, have an expansion above that cleanly. And then obviously treat this as support to continue higher. So, all right, so I like how it's leaving this gap open, obviously. Notice how it didn't spend too much time. It only spent about 5 minutes inside of this 5-minute gap. That's exactly what you want to see, okay? And then it left it. That's pretty much, I mean, pretty much perfect, yeah. ES's relative strength leader, it is getting ready to engage previous daily high pretty soon, actually. Now, let's say a scenario here. Let's say that ES takes previous daily high before NASDAQ does here, right? At that point, I definitely would go break even and let NASDAQ do its thing. So, all right, so pretty good price delivery there. I want to see this continue with speed. I don't want to see it slow down, okay, because of how strong this draw is up here, which I told you guys in the beginning of the stream. Yeah, ES's RR definitely wasn't as good as NASDAQ, so obviously no surprises here. I traded NASDAQ instead of ES. All right, I'm going to move stop up. Okay, so we're basically cutting risk in half and letting this thing ride, because once again, this is that equilibrium down candle that needs to be treated as support if we're on the correct side. So kind of tiptoeing up above this swing high here. I don't really like that. I want to see it really just skirt off to the upside here. Okay, and at least at the minimum, pierce this high with a body, right? A body above that high. Right at that point, I'd go break even. Okay. Now, you can look at this Ferrari gap here. Okay, and that can be delivered, but ideally this here is going to work as a breakaway gap and be left open. All right. Okay, especially since we already worked Newey go. Notice how we worked Newey opening gap high pretty perfectly right there. Okay. And like I said, I'd like to see that ideally be left open. Okay, so right now it's doing that pretty nicely. So pretty good delivery there. Okay, stop loss below the equilibrium down candle. So essentially this is model 2, right? Now, like I said, I need to see a really strong body above this high before I go break even. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. There we go. How about that, guys? There we go. So risk is cut. Okay. Pretty textbook on the nose delivery there. Okay, so take a partial there if you have multiple contracts, definitely. 100%. All right, so ES did just tag previous daily high, so that does make a little bit of a difficulty here. So I'm going to trail just a little bit just because I don't want to get caught on the wrong side of SMT. Okay, even though the trade was obviously on the right side, right? I'm going to go break even and we will hold for $1,000. All right, so yeah, once again, break even, okay, because we got that body above the first high. Just the only thing that is, like, obviously what you don't want to see is the potential of SMT, right? At least on a short-term basis, but all in all, we obviously still expect NASDAQ to, completely sweep the high. So, yeah, once again, take a partial here and then definitely hold a runner up for that high. For those that are using multiple contracts, obviously you can see here I'm using one, right? But yeah, I still really would be absolutely stunned if NQ didn't deliver it here, so it should in the next 5 minutes at least. I'd be shocked if it didn't deliver it in about 5 minutes. But anyway, the takeaway is, right, in conclusion, always cut risk and at minimum go break even. If not, take a partial as well. Like I said, if you have multiple contracts, take partial, go break even. If you're ever in this scenario, right, where obviously one average takes the full target and NQ had yet to do it, right? So perfect example of that and how to manage when that happens. I cover costs and fees there by trailing stop and profit. I want to let it breathe here though. I'm not gonna, this isn't when I start aggressively trailing, right? Because then at that point, you'll probably just get knocked out and then it goes to your target. So everyone that used multiple contracts, once again, you should be partialed out here. And your stop loss should be at break even on this model 2. And remember, it's not because, oh, what if, I don't know if the target's going to be hit. We know the target's going to be hit, right? Just a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes it sneaks in these little nasty plays there when we have a potential SMT divergence, you know what I mean? So you just want to, secure profits while you can. So that's all that is. Beautiful breakaway gap there, by the way, guys. Okay. Beautiful trade indeed. So yeah, next 5 minutes should smash target. Just kind of waiting at this point. So I'm holding this, guys. Okay, I'm not gonna close, right? Honestly surprised that the PM was this clean anyway. All right, but the target's just too ridiculously clean for me to be like, oh man, what if it goes against me at this point, right? I know it's gonna deliver it, right? It's just the potential of a retracement, of course, right? So at this point, just like how much further can we go above previous daily high on ES, right? That's what like kind of circulates through your mind as NQ is just kind of chilling below the surface here, right? Come on, NASDAQ, get on up there. Give us our $1,000. Come on. Give us the 1,000. All right, so at this point, when it gets this ridiculously close to take profit at that point, I'll aggressively trail. That's when you'll see me do that, okay? When it gets like within like literally points of the take profit, that's when I'll start doing this type of thing where I put my stop loss way above, okay? So what do we think here, guys? Ping ponging. Is it going to hit the stop or is it going to give us our 1,000? $800 or $1,000, all right? NQ, you tell us which one. I'm just fine with either one. Just fine. Is he on TP? Okay. I think so too. Oh, god damn. I'll be damned. Wow. Bang. Beautiful trade there, guys. Beautiful trade. Let's go. I think it actually filled me above my take profit too, so I actually got a little extra there. Not bad. Bang.